G'day folks, Nathan here. Got an update on the potential large calibre ban in Queensland, which has happened fairly quickly after the video I released yesterday. So this afternoon, the Police Minister, Dan Purdy, has just released a statement which has been put out in the media. Which has basically highlighted his position on the matter. And I'll just read that out so that I get the wording correct. So my office has been contacted by a number of concerned weapons licence holders regarding rumours of changes to large calibre weapons permits, Mr Purdy said. The Crisafulli government does not have any plans to change the current laws and regulations around weapons licensing. There have been no changes to existing processes, and applications are assessed based on the category of weapon and the applicant's nominated genuine need for possession. Okay, that's a pretty clear statement from the Police Minister citing that nothing has changed, exactly as per what we highlighted in the first video on this that I put out yesterday. So I just wanted to put that out there because there's a couple of things that are worth talking about. So the first one is, it's, in my opinion, very good of the Police Minister to get that information out quickly in response to the concerns that have been highlighted by the lawful and law-abiding shooting community. So we there have a pretty unequivocal statement saying that nothing has changed and there are no plans in place to change anything. So that's great news. What does it mean in terms of weapons licensing in Queensland? It does highlight the fact that there has been a degree of overreach. And indeed, in that particular article there that I was reading from, which is from Queensland Country Life, it does highlight some other matters that were raised by Queensland Weapons Licensing, which basically highlights that they obviously have the ability to vet applications as they come through based on their genuine need. So when we're talking genuine need, what does that actually mean? And excuse me again, I'm just going to read again here from the statement, the additional details in the statement that was provided. So QPS reiterated key legislative requirements of the Weapons Act 1990. Section 39 to Charlie states that a permit to acquire may only be issued for a category B, C, D, H or M weapon if the applicant demonstrates a valid reason for possession. That's no change. Section 42 requires applicants for category B, C, D or H weapon to justify why the weapon is necessary and why this need cannot be met in another way. Section 41 allows an authorised officer to request further information as reasonably required. And Section 42 provides that an authorised officer may consider any information at their disposal when assessing an application, including the applicant's stated reason for possession. Okay, so that's all fine, but again, to reiterate, it really comes down to what you put on the form, and not being too critical of shooters, because this generally isn't really well explained out there, and certainly weapons licensing aren't particularly forthcoming with this type of thing, but you just need to have the relevant detail on there. So for example, and I'll just use a generic example here, you need a 375 H&H for the conduct of destroying large feral herbivores on your property. Basically what I said there is really what you need to put in your PTA when you're seeking to acquire that weapon. So highlight the fact that you are going to routinely use the firearm in the humane destruction of large feral herbivores during both recreational hunting and feral pest controlling activities. This rifle meets the need in terms of energy requirements and terminal performance to humanely destroy the animals that are being targeted under animal welfare guidelines. Okay, so it is about that level of detail. One line's probably not going to cut it, and I think we've probably had a bit of a sharpen up there in terms of making sure we do put that relevant detail on there. So basically, don't give weapons licensing an excuse to say no by not putting enough detail on the form. That's pretty much where we're at there. So there are plenty of good reasons why we in Queensland need to use larger calibre firearms and larger cartridges, i.e. greater powder capacities, to get our job done. And if you're talking about Magnum cartridges, you might want to consider things like your need and requirement, given the type of terrain that you hunt on, to engage feral animals and or recreationally hunt out at longer ranges, which standard cartridges won't do, so get that specific. If you're hunting larger animals such as water buffalo, such as camels, donkeys, feral horses, if that's a thing you're doing, large deer, again, talk to those energy requirements and the absolute requirement to humanely destroy those animals. This is not something that is being made up. These are things that have been ballistically proven over more than 100 years in terms of the terminal ballistics required to humanely kill certain animals. And Australia has a significant number of larger feral animals that require you to use a decent sized firearm to get the job done humanely. The last thing we want to see is people going out and using inadequate firearms to get the job done, and certainly I hope this particular series of events that we've just gone through with weapons licensing and the scuttlebutt around banning of large calibres hasn't discouraged anyone from owning and using those larger calibres where required. They certainly are required in a number of very applicable scenarios, both on the range and in the hunting field and or controlling feral pests, and we certainly should have the things we need to get the job done properly. So a little bit of a shorter video there, but just to finish off, I'll reiterate the point that I made yesterday, which is the standard you walk past is the standard you accept. It's good that the police ministers come out and clarified the situation, but at the end of the day, weapons licensing branch are a regulatory body within the state government that are required to act within the legislation. We pay on a fee-for-service basis, despite the fact that we are mandated to use those services. And if you're not happy with the services being provided, then you should do something about it. Obviously, if we are putting in reasonable applications and they're being refused or restricted heavily, and there's no satisfactory reason as to why that is, then take the review, follow it through if you need to go to QCAT. And as I said yesterday, do what you need to do to support yourself as a shooter and firearms enthusiast and hunter and conservationist in Queensland by joining one of the pro-shooting organisations that will represent your interests. And I think it's fair to say that the outcome that we've had in terms of the police minister responding in a positive way, the way he has been collaborative. There are a number of organisations who did some really good work to highlight and get the information out there. Shooters Union Australia did a fantastic job in terms of getting that information around really quickly, and that got the clarification that we needed in a very timely manner. Anyway, let's keep moving forwards. We want to stay in this sport and continue utilising firearms in a fair and reasonable way in Queensland. Then it's got to be a two-way discussion between us and Queensland Weapons Licensing. So again, enjoy. Thanks for watching, and feel free to post any comments you might like. Cheers.